Tips for Executives. My name is Dov Baron, I'm your host. And of course, this is part of the full Monty Leadership Series. Thanks for joining us and thanks for sharing the show with everyone you know. We love it when you leave your reviews on iTunes and we sincerely appreciate that. I'm here at the C-Suite Conference in Boston. And it's been an amazing conference so far. And this gentleman that I have sitting with me is the CMO.
Correct.
CMO of a company, HCL, with 100,000 employees?
That's correct, yes.
That's
Global company.
That's a lot of people. And this is, I did it again, Matt
Preschern.
Matt Preschern. It's like, what does that mean? You know
It's actually my family's, I grew up in Austria and
Right.
my dad's family is actually from Slovenia.
Oh.
And if you look it up, Preschern actually is supposedly a fairly famous poet in that part of the world. Not that it would have anything to do with me, but a little factoid just for,
That's cool.
for your entertainment.
That's cool. So Matt was speaking on stage today, and one of the things he was speaking about, which is relationship beyond the contract. I love that. I love what that says to me. As you know, we're all about relationships. We believe that all business is relationship-based, and unless we focus in on developing healthy relationships, the business is certainly going to struggle, particularly dealing with millennials as it is. Tell us, how did that philosophy come about?
Great. Couple things. HCL, we're in the IT space, right? We're a fast-growing company, $6 billion, 31 countries, and
You said 15% growth?
we have 15% growth year over
When
year.
everybody else is doing 2 or 3?
So one of the things that we pride ourselves is we're a technology leader. But what we also realize is that how do you differentiate yourself truly?
Sure.
And so what we feel very strongly is that, while in many instances that contract, the proverbial dotted line that you have to sign, we view this as the beginning of a relationship. This is where actually the real work starts, and we're here to work with you to deliver the best results on your behalf. And then what we believe is that the strongest vehicle to do so are in fact your own employees. We call our employees the ideapreneurs, which is a great term.
Ideapreneurs, you ever heard that? I never heard that before.
Ideapreneurs, and here's the basic principle. We believe that if you empower your employees, when you put your employees first, when you put them in a position where they can interact with your customers, and they're the ones who can actually not only interact, but take actions, then they will do the right thing for the customers and will do the right thing for the business altogether. And so now if you expand that to, we're a company of 100,000 employees, right? We have about 10,000 employees here in the US, close to 4,500, 5,000 almost in Europe and in other places around the world. It becomes, I think, really, really important to let our employees know, many of whom are, by the way, millennials. Look,
Sure.
when you come here, we have a real formalized 30-day onboarding process. You come in, we want to take care of you. We want to make you feel special. We want to make sure that you understand that we are trying to invert the pyramid, right? Not from the top down, but exactly the opposite. Because our belief is that when you interact, you're the ones who have to contact with the customers. You're the ones who have to do that. So that's kind of a core philosophy as to who we are, and it's very near and dear to us.
How did that come about though? Because you said it's so polar opposite to what has been. It's like, when I go in and I talk to a company and I say, okay, what's your culture? The culture for them. It's like from here on high, the culture for them. And they don't get that actually you are the core of that culture and whatever you're living. This is so opposite.
Yeah, I mean, I've been with HCL for about 8 months, right? So as much as I would love to tell you that I'm the marketing brains behind all of that, that may be a slight overstatement. But just a slight one, yes. But what I would share with you is the founder of HCL, Mr. Nadar, right? He's a visionary leader. He's still the chairman of the company as well. He's also very active in philanthropy, right? And I have seen, one of the first things I saw is maybe a year or two ago, where he was giving a speech to some of the senior leadership. And he actually, at this time, we did not have it embedded in all of our marketing. He literally used the words, what makes us different as a company is we believe in relationships. we go above and beyond. What differentiates us from everybody else? Yes, we're an engineering and technology-driven, skill-based company, but we really want to take this to another level. And the other part where you see that is we're pretty much, and at the risk of those who are not that familiar with technology, but we're pretty much a technology agnostic company. What that means is we need to have good relationships with all the other technology providers. So we have good relationships with Microsoft, with Oracle, with EMC, with SAP, the list goes on and on and on. The whole notion again being when we work together very strongly through our employees with you. And again, I'll credit Mr. Nadar, our CEO, Anand Gupta as well. And then, we're really trying to live it day in, day out.
But you know as well as I do, the language of our people, our people are our greatest asset. I mean, who hasn't heard that? And yet, you've also seen that, no, we don't treat people like assets, we treat them like drones. So, for me, that's what I'm saying, that's what I think is fascinating, is that you were telling me there's an external marketing and an internal marketing. Tell me about that.
Yeah, we made a decision a couple of years ago to actually take a group of people who were in HR, and we actually took the headcount and we transferred it into marketing. And the basic premise being, and by the way, make no mistake, this does not, it's still more an instantiation or more an example of marketing in HR working like this.
Sure.
Right? But the basic premise is, I think too often you have marketing groups who are responsible for, we have to articulate the brand, the purpose, the value proposition externally.
Right.
And then the next sentence is, and the people who actually deliver it, those are our employees, but that's another team who does that. We went a different route.
Right.
We said, when we think about brand, there is an external brand team, and then there is literally an employee brand team. And I meet, I'm in India at least once a month.
Yeah, you spend a week, a month in India.
I spend every month.
And you still have a marriage, right?
I still have a marriage. I still have 2 boys. At least the last time I checked, right?
You don't know.
Which was 10 minutes. That was 10 minutes ago. and so I meet with that team, every month, and we basically, literally, whether it's the onboarding process or whether it's the physical design of new delivery centers, whether it's specific collateral, right? For example, we posted, if all of you want to ever go to YouTube and type in there, the coolest interview ever, we actually ran a Twitter campaign that was all about go on Twitter, see what kind of jobs we have. I will tell you, received over 1 million downloads.
Wow.
It's very cool, it's very fun, which is partially what we're trying to demonstrate to the world.
It sounds to me like you, whether consciously or otherwise, very targeted towards millennials. I mean, in the thinking.
Yeah, what we realize, right, is that particularly in the technology space, look, these are great jobs, very smart, very tech-savvy audience, right? And, many millennials, they're probably their first reaction is, I want to work for a startup, or I want to work for a cool company, this or that. What we're saying is, what? It's a pretty fun place to work here too. And by the way, we're one of the leading technology companies, and we try to treat you right? And come here, enjoy it, have fun with us, and actually, some of my colleagues, we also try to not come across as what I would call, in quotes, the stodgy B2B brands, or all the big words. I said, no. So for example, I give you one which always causes a little bit of a smile, right, is, so for this 30-day onboarding, right, we purposely, just for a little bit of shock effect, we actually created some marketing material, and when you see that, we took the word farewell, and we put it in, we split it up. Farewell. Basically saying, come here and do great things. And when I first saw that, I'm like, you're pushing the envelope here. But the longer I think about this is exactly the kind of provocative but fun part that we're trying to instill. So
in your C-suite,
correct,
which is across the world, because you're global, what would you say is the average age?
Well, our average employees' age is right around 25.
Yeah.
And then you unfortunately have to deal with some of the older gentlemen like me. I'm not going to tell you exactly how old I am.
Like me.
Yes, but and we have senior leaders all across the world. We actually have what I would consider to be a fairly flat organizational structure, right? So we do not believe in the principle that everybody has to be in a corporate, which is in Noida, right? We have senior leaders in London, we have senior leaders in New York. I live in New York, with another senior leader in Cary, another one actually on the West Coast, right? And these are global roles, and then once a month we all come together for a day or two and work together. So
in my new book, Fiercely Loyal, one of the things I say that is so important and so many stodgy companies struggle with is that millennials want autonomy.
correct.
Right? And so in the old world, we were striving for that corner office. And when I'm interviewed, I say, they don't want a corner office. And I ask, well, why not? And I say, they don't need one. They've got one. It's called Starbucks. They'll work from the corner of Starbucks. They've got a beautiful view.
That's right.
And so it really is cool to me that you guys are really on that edge of doing this.
We're trying to, so I'll give you two other examples of kind of what we do. Because I think the other part I've always felt is, if you're an employee of any company, most people actually would like to have a voice. Right?
Cool.
So we run every year what we call a Mad Jam, which is basically an online forum where everybody can go out and deliver new ideas. Right? The best 3 ideas get rewarded. With
Wow.
huge participation. The other one that we found, and this one's really one of my favorites, is, as in most organizations, people will say, it's the seller's job to sell.
Yes.
And in the spirit, though, if the ideapreneurs are delivering that relationship beyond the contract, there are many, many people in delivery and other functions who actually touch customers day in, day out.
Of course.
So we put in place, we call it Lead Gen program, where employees are encouraged to bring forward their ideas. I'm working with customer A, B, C. I've seen this. Here's the idea we should implement. And we quantify those.
Right.
And then, we reward some of the best contributions. Today, that program is contributing up to $500 million a year in additional revenue. Again, the whole notion being, look, you are the ones who are working with our customers day in, day out. You know better what the issues are than anybody else. Ideapreneurs at work delivering the relationship beyond the contract.
I just love what you guys are doing. I really do. I'm going to ask you the question that I like to ask my
Sure.
guests, and that is this. I'm going to make you into a leadership god. So you get to wave the magic wand, and you get to bestow a commandment upon leadership. And it's probably the thing that you wish leaders would do. What would that be? What would be your leadership commandment? That leaders would have to-
The one or two things
Sure.
that I think are most important, and I think that holds true for a global organization or a startup. I think people want passion.
Mhm.
Passionate leaders who own it, who are prepared to stand up, take a point of view, and then work with their teams in a collaborative manner to influence that. And personally, if that is something that a leader can do, then I'll sign up right away. That would be, I don't know if that's
So the leader owns what it is he's doing and the mission, the purpose, the vision of the company.
I think that this goes into culture, right?
Yeah, of course.
There's always a discussion about, I think every employee in a company is an owner of that culture.
Yes.
Usually, at some point, you need leadership to also point, here is north.
Right.
This is where we're going. And I think at this point, and at least what I've seen in my career, there are many smart people there. There are many people who are quantitative fantastic. There are many people who have unbelievable credentials. The people I've always enjoyed working most are the ones who come in the morning, have a smile on their face, and have a lot of enthusiasm to actually do what may seem to be impossible. And that can be contagious, and that can then be a fun place to work, and that can be something where you then achieve something.
But passion, I speak a lot about authentic leadership, and I was saying to a guest earlier that it's something I spoke about for 30 years, and now authentic leadership is a new catchphrase. But I said if we walked around and we did a survey and asked, are you authentic? People would say yes, because they don't know really what that means. And I think that that's also true with when you talk about passion. I don't think there's too many people in the leadership roles who would admit that they're not real passionate. I wrote an article for LinkedIn and said, is the problem with disengagement the leadership? Because I see leaders who are disengaged. that they're not passionate. They're passionate about making money, they're passionate about their status, they're passionate about their power, but they're not passionate about it, whatever it is.
Yeah, I would, and this maybe goes right back to the discussion that we had earlier. If you believe in the concept that your employees, the ones who, work with your customers day in, day out, are the ones who are going to deliver that unbelievable engagement, then you better be passionate about that.
Yeah.
If you're not, if you don't, as people say, it doesn't take very long to understand whether somebody cares or not, right? And so I personally firmly believe that passionate people who also care about team environment are the ones who are going to succeed. If you just go out there and you're kind of boring or negative,
right,
or someone who has a different management style, it's personally not how I believe what this should be.
Well, you said you've been with this company for 8 months.
Yeah.
You've obviously been in leadership roles for a long time. What is it that gets you up in the morning? What is it that, because like you said, you spend a week in India a year, a week in Europe a year, and the other 2 weeks traveling.
A month, actually.
Another month?
No, a week per month.
A week, that's not, sorry,
Yeah.
I meant that, sorry, I apologize.
Sure.
A week per month in India, a week per month in Europe, and the other 2 weeks traveling around the US. That takes an extraordinary amount of energy. We talked about family and all the other things, not exactly a work-life balance thing. I think you've got to have something getting you out of bed in the morning besides your position.
Yeah, look, there, as I said actually earlier on stage, right? I went into this job with my eyes wide open, and I still, I'll say exactly what I said before. How often do you have the opportunity to be the global CMO of a $6 billion company that's growing in the double digits, and that is actually trusting me, in this case, with the role of a global CMO? Look, I grew up in Europe. I spent 2 years in Taipei. I've now lived in the US. I'm now working for a global company based out of India. What gets me excited? Yeah, I want to grow at 15-20%. Yes, I want to win. Yes, I get actually tremendous satisfaction out of the work that we do. I think we're in the golden age of marketing. I really do. I think it's absolutely, with everything that's going on, if you can't get excited about marketing today, I don't know that you're ever going to get excited, right? I love the fact that I have the opportunity to go to India, and then 3 days later I'm in London, and then another few days later I am in San Francisco, and I'm working with local people to actually help us win in the marketplace. Yes, and I still go to the gym, and I still, when I'm home, spend quality time with my boys and with my wife. And so, yeah, but in general, if I may, the glass, in my view, is always half full.
Right.
And that's kind of, if you ask me in the morning, have a good day. Yeah. I may not know exactly where I am. I may wake up and say,
Sure.
am I in India?
Which country is this?
Which country is this? Okay. Oh, yeah, here I am. But no, it's all
Well, you
good.
heard that story that Jeff told about getting in the cab in Paris, speaking Japanese. That was a great story. I think we've all had one of those moments.
Yes,
like,
yes.
oh, yeah, okay, that's right.
That's right.
Well, it's been great having you on
It's
the
been a
show.
real
Thank you
pleasure.
very much.
Thank you.
So, please tell our viewers where they can find out more about you, more about the company,
Great.
Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn.
Yeah, you can find me, at Matt Preschern on Twitter. I'm also on LinkedIn, and that's usually. I'm also on Google Plus. Those are usually the most platforms. I'm on Instagram as well, but a little bit less so.
Okay.
And please feel free to tweet.
Yeah.
Or find me on LinkedIn.
We'll make sure that we post the links on the bottom of the podcast page, so you'll be able to find out more about it right there. It's been, again, really great having you here.
Fantastic.
I love that you're actually living the stuff that's in my book. It's like, oh my God, finally, there is somebody out there.
Yeah.
It's so great. So again, thanks for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed the show. Remember to share the show with everyone you know. And until next time, this is Dov Baron at Leadership and Loyalty Tips for Executives saying, live with courage.